Assalamu alaikum and hello. My name is Shahada Abdul Rashid. Welcome to the Philadelphia Muslim Oral History Project. This series is a part of In the Path of Islam, a project brought to you by the Free Library of Philadelphia and funded by the Doris Duke Foundation for Islamic Art. This series and project shares and uplifts the voices of Muslims indigenous to Philadelphia and the Delaware Valley. These personal accounts that you're about to hear are unique, probably not written down, and important to be passed on for future generations. Insha'Allah, God willing, you will enjoy these stories as told by the people who have experienced them. Thank you, and may you be blessed with goodness always.
On May 19th, 1967, I proclaimed myself a Muslim. This is the birthday of Al-Hajj Malik el-Shabazz Malcolm X. His model of courage and character in speaking out against injustice greatly influenced my decision. In the prior year, 1966, I became a member of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, whose office was located in the 500 block of South 16th Street across from the Philadelphia Tribune building. SNCC was also known for its voting rights campaigns in the South. In states such as Alabama and Mississippi, Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael, and Imam Jamil Al-Amin, also known as H. Rap Brown, were among the thousands of SNCC members diligently working and struggling for freedom, justice, and equality. The Philadelphia chapter went door to door encouraging people to get registered and to vote in order to get men and women who would represent their interests for achieving adequate education, housing, and employment. High schools and local cultural, educational, and political events were places we spread the message of voting and human rights for all people. Reverend Paul Washington, who was also affectionately known as Father Washington, for his courage and love in allowing the African American community to have its political programs and rallies, musical concerts, and cultural programs at the Church of the Advocate. It was one of the very few places that we were welcomed with open arms. They also had summer camps there for children. Nina Simone, John Coltrane, Arthur Hall dancers and drummers, and Kwame Ture and other speakers appeared at the Church of the Advocate. The Black Power Conference convened there in 1968. During this time, the Nation of Islam sponsored bazaars. Political, cultural, and African American historical speakers shared their knowledge and skills. Local and tri state area businesses showcased their products, and of course, delicious, fresh, natural food was served. And yes, the famous bean pie was enjoyed by all. Being involved in the movement and meeting so many men and women, some of whom were Muslims, committed to building a self sustaining community with equal rights and advantages in all aspects of our lives, culminated in my decision to become a Muslim. At the Black Power Conference in 1968, I met Rashida Abdul Haq and her husband Hassan. They introduced me to the members of the Mujahideen Masjid located in the 1600 block of Ogontz Avenue and West Oak Lane. Abdul Karim Ahmed was the imam there. He and his wife Radia and their family, Brother Mukhtar Curtis and his family, Brother Zaid, a poet, and his wife Miriam were a very friendly and close knit community who welcomed my family and me. I finally remember listening to the stories of the Sahaba, which was routinely shared by the brothers with all of us, men, women, and children. In those years, there were very few Islamic books and Quran translations, yet there was sincere love of Muslims for one another. Sunni, Shia, Ahmadiyya, and Nation of Islam respected one another and held no animosity or ill will. Each coexisted in his or her own beliefs. The Black Power Conference and consciousness movements in Philadelphia were very unifying for African Americans of all faiths, political ideologies, ages, and occupations who were dedicated to reclaiming their African heritage and feeling proud about themselves. We had been portrayed very negatively in books and in the media. African Americans celebrated their hair and physical features, their intellect, and proudly wore African inspired clothing, dashikis for men, geles or hair wraps, and colorful dresses and skirts for women. In selecting new names to identify ourselves, we came Fatima, Ali, Naima, Rashid, Imani, Kwame, and Akiba. We greeted each other in Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you, Jambo, hello, that's Swahili, Habari Gani, how are you, that's Swahili, and Alafia, which is Yoruba, which means hello. Many Muslim women began to learn to sew to make their own longer clothing and skirts to adhere to the Islamic dress code. A few years later, the fashion industry began to make longer clothing for women. I remember there was only knee-length dresses and skirts when I became a Muslim. From my perspective, I see Islam as a major influence on women's fashion's lowered hemlines. Today we see a vast array of calf-length and floor-length attire. Since accepting Islam 55 years ago, the Muslim population has exponentially grown, with brothers and sisters from Afghanistan, Syria, Turkey, Indonesia, Iran, Palestine, Pakistan, Iraq, and the African countries of Mali, Sierra Leone, Libya, Nigeria, Morocco, Ghana, Mauritania, and the Sudan. In Philadelphia, we are blessed to be able to address medical concerns with a Muslim primary care physician, schedule an appointment with a Muslim therapist, confidentially speak with a Muslim attorney about legal issues, and be confident about financial stability with a Muslim accountant, have a proper Muslim burial, also known as janazah, with a Muslim burial director, and select healthy food and meats from a Zabiha and Halal meat stores and restaurants. Masjids throughout Philadelphia pray 5 times a day and observe Friday or Juma prayer, supporting each other and members of the surrounding communities with food deliveries, book and clothing distribution, Quranic and Islamic educational classes, health fairs, political awareness, interfaith activities, and business entrepreneurship. These are good deeds, all done for the pleasure of Allah, seeking no personal or worldly gain, fi sabilillah, for the pleasure of Allah. My legacy is to be known and remembered as a Muslim woman of African descent who dedicated her life to serve and support women, children, and men, encouraging, respecting, and uplifting people to achieve their highest potential in the spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical aspects of their lives.